Welcome back to ReadingBear. Today, we will take a look at some new entitled people stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first one is titled, M says her kid don't want to eat veggies, so M decided to raid my fridge and cooked a dozen eggs. I had visitors a week ago on my new house, and some of them brought their kids. Lots of little kids age 9 and below. Anyway, I tried to be a gracious host. I entertained the kids, and let them play on my video games Switch so their parents and my parents can have time to talk and enjoy company of each other. The kids pretty much enjoyed Splatoon 2 and 4 of them can play at same time. My house was filled with laughter of kids. And for breakfast, since they came early, I decided to leave the kids playing and the adult with their conversation, and I prepared chicken soup. I slipped in tiny slices of carrots and cabbages. Same recipe as how my mum does it to make it healthy for the kids. By the time I finish, I was surprised to see that one of the parent are now playing and the kids are now just watching. Anyway, I called them over the kitchen and served them breakfast. The adults let the kids eat first since I have small dining table, only seats up to 6 person. The kids loved it. After a while, one of the kids asked, "Uncle, this tastes so good, what's your secret?" I was overwhelmed. It's my first time cooking for other people than myself. So feeling like a pro chef, I explained that I blanched the veggies so when I put them in the soup they retain their crisp. The kids are so amazed that what they actually ate just now are carrots and cabbages. They said they hated this thing. So now they are all gathering around and so eager for what do I cook next. Ha ha. They are now very eager to taste the rest of the veggies in my fridge. So I told them I'll stir fried noodles topped with veggies for lunch using a Chinese recipe I learned from my dad. I showed them string beans, sweet potatoes, eggplant, bitter melon, garlic and some onion. I was surprised that some of them don't even know what they look like. Yes, they know the name, because they say they learned it from school, but they didn't have a chance to see it in person. Anyway, as I show them how to cut but didn't let them touch the knife cause I was afraid they lose a finger, one of the parents saw them and screamed at them. She brought them out of the kitchen and as they left I can hear the kids so eager to tell her stories about vegetables. So I proceeded on cooking and when it's time for lunch I called them over. This time around, the adults should eat with us. So I took some extra chairs, and I allowed some of them to eat on the couch. Now the kids are all excited to eat my veggies except one. All the other kids kept asking each other how it tastes like and they all exclaim how delicious it was. One even said it doesn't taste like any veggies she had ever eaten before. But one of them was quiet and had empty plate. So I asked him, "Why aren't you eating? Don't you like it?" Poor kid. I can see that he wants to say something but he glanced at his mum instead. He doesn't eat vegetables. Me, oh okay. Is he allergic or something? Nope. He's just very picky eater. Me, oh. Why don't you have a bite and just don't finish it if you don't like it? I said to the kid, and the kid just glanced over his mum again. If you only knew how hard I tried to force him to eat them, but no, he cries his eyes out and throws his plates. Me, okay, shall I cook you something else then? Bacon. Fried chicken. Just don't bother with him, I'll just cook him eggs. I gave up encouraging the kid to eat and just ate lunch myself. After the was finished, she went over my fridge and decided to take a tray of eggs out and started cracking them one by one. I asked her if she needed any help, but no, she insisted on cooking herself. She even said I must be tired of all the cooking so I should just relax. Okay, so I left her and joined the kids. They still keep on asking how I did it like it was some magic. I envy their innocence. How fun would it be to experience life as a kid again? It took a while, until the kid got back. The other kids began teasing him that he was not able to taste my dish. But now he's boasting about how many eggs both him and his mum had eaten. A dozen eggs. For lunch. I am feeling sorry for the kid, but I don't want to embarrass him. He's proud of himself. I'm not quite sure if this was normal for this kid and his mum to go visit another house and cook their food without asking permission, or it's just that I was quite hospitable that they forgot they don't live here. And for goodness sake, a dozen eggs for lunch? The next one is titled, Karen accuses a white boy of kidnapping his Asian sister. My GF has a college friend named May. She was adopted from China, and brought to the US as a baby. We were chatting in the dining hall when May told me this bizarre story that happened between her and her older brother, John. Note, May is the only adopted child in this family. John's mum was busy one day, and needed someone to pick up May from middle school, so she asked John to do it. Usually how it works is several supervisors watch all the kids, and then guide each parent to their kid. When John approached this one supervisor, aka Karen, she was skeptical that this was May's brother. John explained his mum was busy, so she asked him to do it. He even showed her his driver's license, but she was still skeptical. Karen told John to wait without calling May over. Apparently, Karen tried to call May's mum and dad, but neither answered. By then, almost all the kids had already gone home. May noticed her brother, and tried going out to him, and the following exchange was something like this: May, oh hey, John. Karen, get back in the building. We can't verify who this man is. May, Ms. Karen, that's my brother. Karen, well, we can't verify him, so you can't leave with him. John, Ms. Karen, I am her brother. May was adopted. Didn't my mum tell you? Karen, for all I know, you could be some stranger here to kidnap a little girl. It's for her safety as well as ours. May and John were both getting annoyed, so they just waited. Before they knew it, the police showed up. Karen says she suspected this young man of trying to kidnap his own sister, and possibly even be a creep. She also made snide remarks like, I know I wouldn't want my kid to be in this situation. John showed his license again, and May pleaded with the cops that this was her brother. John called his mum, and finally, she picked up. When John told his mum what happened, she was pissed. Karen tried to argue it was for the kid's safety. One mum to another, surely you must understand my position. John's mum was having none of it. She went off on the Karen, accusing her of being sexist for assuming her son was a creep, and racism for assuming he wasn't related because he's white. She said if John was Chinese, or if May was white, she wouldn't doubt that they were related. Karen was arrested for her false accusations, and later got fired. I've heard of black caretakers being accused of kidnapping white kids, but I guess Asians aren't immune from this either. In any event, it sounds like May's got a good family behind her. The next one is titled, Ed wants 1-year-old to go on fast roller coaster. Ed equals entitled Dad Worker 1 equals the first worker Worker 2 equals the second worker. So for a little backstory, this happened before Corona on my birthday and I went to a theme park. There's a small roller coaster in there called Crazy 8 that goes super fast in a figure 8 and I decided to go on there. Now to the actual story. I was waiting in line and in front of me was Ed holding his barely 1-year-old. When it was Ed's turn to go on, this is how the conversation between them went down. Worker 1, excuse me sir, how old is your son? Ed, he is 1-year-old. Worker 1, sorry, he has to be at least 4 years old to ride the roller coaster. Points to the sign. Ed, no, I said he is 4 years old. Worker 1, sir, you can't just change his age. Ed's kid looks nothing close to 4 years old anyways. Ed, please let me on. Worker 1, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to go to a different game or ride that you can do with your child, as it is not safe for him to go on this ride. Ed says with impatience, what do you mean let me on? Starts trying to go into the roller coaster. At this point everyone in line including myself is getting impatient. Worker 1, sir, leave right now or I'm gonna have to call security. Ed walks away. Duck you. Worker 1, goodbye sir, have a nice day. Ed, excuse me? Why are you telling me goodbye and have a nice day? Literally said this word for word. Was the funniest poop I ever heard. Me and my friend were cracked up, but he wasn't fully English, so maybe why he didn't understand sarcasm. Being nice to the customer no matter what. Worker 1 ignores Ed at this point and is letting me and other people on the roller coaster. After a little bit I decide to go on it again and there's a new worker at the roller coaster and I was there in line for it and coincidentally look who's there right in front of me. Ed. Worker 2, how old is your son? Ed, 4 years old. Worker 2, okay, step right ahead. This is where I come in, most likely stopping that little 1-year-old from getting flown off the roller coaster because of him being way too small, not fitting in the restraint properly. Me, excuse me, that kid that you let on is 1-year-old, that dad lied about his age. Then I continue to explain what happened before with the other worker. Worker 2, okay, thanks for letting me know, it wouldn't be my fault if he got hurt though as he lied about his age. After letting me on the roller coaster, I see her talking in a walkie-talkie, probably calling security and confirming what I said has actually happened with her co-worker. Worker 2 walks up to Ed. "Sir, you have to get off this roller coaster as your son is too young to ride it." Ed: "What the hell do you mean? He is 4 years old." Worker 2: "We have security coming right now, so if you don't get off you will be escorted off the property." Ed: "No. I don't want to move." Worker 2: "Okay, smiley face. You will be in a second." Ed: "Yeah, sure, start this roller coaster." Security shows up. The security didn't even have to say a word and Ed just bolts out of there. The next one is entitled "Family Dares to Try to Sue My Family When They Were the Cause I Need to Go to the Hospital." Hello, yes, here are some notes before we start. I'm a teenager, I'm not old enough to make my own decisions or defend myself. I am not native English speaker. This happened this weekend. My father is a doctor, and both him and my mother, not mentioned, are very good horse riders. I know, as he has said to me, 90% of what it takes to be a good knight, and have only learned from practice. Also sorry for the usage of "we were," I couldn't think of another word. Characters: me, you won't believe this, it's me. D, my dad. M, entitled Mother. EB, entitled 17-year-old brat. CD, confused dad. So, let's begin. I live in Brazil, more specifically, São Paulo, aka the big shot of Brazil. Also, living in the city of São Paulo, and this Friday, my dad and I decided to go to Campos de Jordão, a city in the countryside of São Paulo, to go visit some horses my dad wants to see. So there we are, in the stables. Now, the settlement is a really big family business, owned by my dad's friend, that has the horses. You can basically rent a horse for some time and walk around his property, or come with yours, and rent a guide. If you know the region, you can go without a guide. Anyways, my dad chose an Arabian, because he wanted some challenge with the horse, and I chose a Lusitano, Portuguese race, very calm and tough. We got the owner's son as our guide, and started the little tour. It was great, we raced a little, had to climb some very steep hills, and until then, all was good. Now, I may have forgotten to tell you, one rule that the owner has, which is, no galloping downhill, or in a trail, which is fine, since we took the trail, and weren't looking to run a lot. Also, horses tend to need some momentum to walk up mounts and steep things, so we couldn't really control them when they trotted upwards, but it's still safe. And here's the bad stuff. As we were almost finished, and starting to head back, we heard some galloping, which was bad, especially since we were walking up a hill, and the sounds came from our front. Mind you, we were still in the forest's trail, and it was a very thin one, meaning that you couldn't fit two horses before one falls to the ground. But I guess that doesn't matter, because the people coming our way didn't care anyway. And wouldn't you know, they hit us hard. My dad got out of the way, but I couldn't, because my horse, called Paige, is a very finicky horse that doesn't like when I pull on the reins, so he just stops. What's worse is, the boy, 16 to 18, was carrying a branch of some sorts, with thorns, and just slams it on my left arm. I could show you a picture, but I'm pretty sure it would fall on the NSFW category. And not only that, because they were running downhill so quickly, the EB's horse bumped into mine, which got scared, and fell off a little cliff. I, thank God, jumped out of the saddle before that could happen. Remember, I've fallen off a horse before, I know how to do it, but that still didn't protect me from breaking my left foot, knee and leg, because I fell onto them. I think I passed out, but I woke up, on my dad's car, as he was yelling with someone that I think was the EB's mum, because he was right beside her, denying everything that him and the guide said. It even got to a point that EB said, and I quote in English, "I was just walking downhill, when the boy slammed his arm on the fence and fell over. Then, I closed my eyes, and I passed out again." I woke up in the hospital bed, and apparently, surprise, the branch that EB was carrying and hit me with, was poisonous. At least its leaves, and I'm highly allergic to that kind of plant. My leg was fully in plaster, with some steel stuff on it. I'm assuming it was something to keep the joints of my knee together. I also had a concussion, that I didn't know about, hence me passing out. I'm still in the hospital, having to consume antibiotics for my arm. The rest of the story, is what happened while I was passed out. My dad, after yelling to M, decided to call EB's father, in which when he finally got to the property, my dad demanded X amount of insurance, because of what his son had done to me. CD was really confused, especially when M and EB started to say it was my fault. My guess, he would have sided with us, if his witch wife and gremlin son weren't untruthful, but alas. Eventually, seeing that I was just getting worse, my dad got CD's and M's phone number, gave his, and drove me all the way back to Sao Paulo so I could be interned in a hospital he works in. 2 days later, aka today, he got a call earlier of M saying that she was going to sue him and my family because somehow her baby innocent boy got hurt. How would that even work? I still don't know what will happen, but I'll keep whoever's interested updated. Thanks for reading. The next one is titled, Racist EP says, Go back to your own country. Prologue. I took some friends out to eat. One friend who I will refer to as Marcus was a tanned individual. Being from Mexico, his first language is Spanish. This will come into play a little later. Friend 2 was a more fair-skinned individual, shy and quiet, thus she won't be participating much but who will be referred to as Julia. None of these are real names. Now let's begin. As stated above, I took some friends out to eat. Yeah, how irresponsible of me. We are seated in a booth where a waitress comes by to hand us the menus. We discuss what we think looks good, then, in walks EP. She along with her baby are seated in the booth across from us. Here's where it starts to get interesting. Marcus gets a call from his mother about something I can't bother to remember. The EP apparently overhears the conversation and under her breath says something about Mexicans. While my friends don't notice, I do but pay it no mind. Julia and I chat about some stupid video game or something like that while Marcus continues to talk to his mother, until he eventually, after some very embarrassing things were done and or said, hung up. The mother, now very frustrated, gets up, walks over and gives him an earful about "You're in America, speak English. And you and your kind should just go back to your own country." The three of us just stare at her blankly, flabbergasted at the situation that has occurred. Quickly a smile grows ear to ear on my face and I quickly text Marcus to only speak in Spanish. He erects a poop-eating grin and we begin to confront her in Spanish. Mew will be Marcus because I'm lazy. Mew, excuse me? EP, see, this is the issue with you people. Come to my country and steal my jobs. Yes, my friend, you read that correctly. Me, ma'am, I have no idea what you are talking about. EP, now red in the face. What? You were speaking English just a minute ago. Me, no ma'am, you must have hallucinated that. You are just that delusional, I guess. EP, now being a nuisance, speak English, damn it. New character unlocked. Manager, Ma, now aware of the disaster that has become apparent, comes over to assess the situation. Ma, in a gentle tone, excuse, is there a problem here? I open my mouth to speak but EP opens hers first. EP, now calm. Yes, these foreigners are speaking Spanish in my country. You need to tell them to speak English or leave. The manager looks at us. Mew, miss, we were enjoying ourselves until this lady came out of nowhere and starts attacking us. Best part, Ma, ma'am, you're in a Mexican restaurant. Now please leave these customers alone or leave the establishment. The manager apologizes, then leaves. EP sits down. You thought we were done, didn't ya? I wink at Marcus and we start speaking in Spanish loudly to mock EP. Admittedly not the most mature thing to do, but hey, we're just a bunch of dumb teenager, well apart from Julia, who of the three of us has the most common sense and tries to get us to stop. We ignore and continue to mock EP, until she gets up and confronts us again. EP angrily, this is the issue with people, everybody defends you and so you can do whatever you want. You damn Mexicans are ruining America. Why can't you just speak English like good citizens? I smile. Me, ma'am, I would first like to say, I'm Asian not Mexican. For context, I'm tanned and for some reason am often mistaken to be Hispanic. Secondly, I would like to correct you. So what is your issue again? In English please. EP, are you stupid or something? I just said my issue, it's you damn Mexicans ruining AMA. Me, I said in English, not Spanish. EP, let me speak. You are ruining me. I said no Spanish. EP, what do you mean me? You do realize the word America is technically Spanish, right? EP's jaw drops. By this point nearby tables and booths are giggling. EP quickly regains composure and says, you need to respect your elders. Me, no, respect is not simply given out, it is earned. Oh yeah, regarding your issue with Spanish, are you aware that only 8.7% of Americans are self-identified as having English origins while a greater 18.3% is made up of Hispanics? EP sputters silently. I and Marcus continue to throw facts at her. My friends and I go to the top school in our state. Yeah, we're nerds, deal with it. Until she decides she's had enough and changes the subject. At this point my group and a couple tables nearby are struggling to hold in laughter. In a sudden burst of thought EP turns to Julia. EP, hey sweetie, are these mean boys forcing you to be here? She's attempting to attack me and Marcus, accusing us of things to tarnish our names to the tables nearby, just for the attempt to be unsuccessful. Ju, no? Why would they? EP. I think they're going to try to do bad things to you, come with me sweetie. Ju in Spanish, you've already embarrassed yourself enough today, go sit down. Context, Julia's parents are originally from Spain. EP turns white, then back to red, then screams, you're one of those illegals too? Now I'm slightly annoyed, then ding, an idea. Me, ma'am, if you are going to speak on the legality of the situation, are you aware that you currently are doing something technically illegal? EP, what are you talking about? Me, you know, there's currently a global pandemic and you're not wearing a mask? EP, yeah? So I shouldn't be made to wear a piece of cloth. Didn't know that clothes aren't a piece of cloth. Me, you do know there is a fine, right? How about I call the police and see what they say? She suddenly turns white, grabs her baby and leaves. She didn't even get to order anything. The next one is titled, Mum Gets Mad at Me Because of My Let's Summon Demons shirt that her teenage daughter was asking about. In the mood of spooky season, one brought a t-shirt from a very risque souvenir shop that says, Let's Summon Demons, as all these kids are trying to summon a demon as one of the friends is laying on a pentagram. It's dark for some people, I get it, but it's Halloween season, so I didn't care. I just moved to this area and anything that I wear that's too exposing or too risque, I get stared down. I'm a pretty big girl, so normally they just look disgusting but go back to what they were doing. But no, not yesterday. My fiancé and I were in the mall near my new apartment. I was wearing my shirt while my fiancé was wearing his usual polo and jeans. As we are in the mall, I get my fair share of WTF is she wearing looks from employees. I wanted to go to a well-known body wash place to buy hand soap. My fiancé knows how long I would possibly take, so he left to go to a game shop. While I'm in the store, I find the hand soap and start reading which one is which. As I'm looking, I see maybe 4 more people come into this empty store, a mum and daughter. I only know that because of the rest of the story, and 2 older women which I assume to be an aunt and grandmother. The daughter was about 17-ish. She runs directly to body wash set behind me on the display table. I find my soap and put it in the bag and walk to the other side of the store. Then I hear, excuse me. I look behind me and it's the daughter. Oh my bad, you don't work here. I thought you were stocking the store. I was in no way dressed like the employees, but whatever. Yeah, sorry, no, I don't work here. But since I love this store, I probably can help you. She then asked me for a certain scent, and since I could see it from where I was standing, I showed her. She looked at my shirt and started asking me where could she buy one and blah blah blah. I gave her all the details and even told her where the store was in the mall. She starts laughing about how I must know the mall very well. I guess her mum heard her talking and walked towards us. Come on, daughter, I found your scent. M grabs the daughter's arm. Wait mum, look at her shirt, I really want one. It's so cool. I smile and look at the mum. As she reads my shirt, her face starts to turn into a look of disgust. Like if she just seen roadkill splat on her windshield. It was very awkward, she didn't even try to hide it. This is not word from word, but this is basically what happened. M, no, you don't need a Satan worshipping shirt. Grabs her daughter, pulls back, no mum, I'm talking. I just stand there confused. M, listen, I know that it's Halloween, but my sweet baby does not need to see this Satan worshipping poop when going to the mall. What's wrong with you? Are you possessed? Me, listen, I don't care if you like it. And girl, if you want the shirt, you can afford it without your mum being in the way. I start to walk away and M starts to follow me around the entire store, calling me a Satanist and saying how my kind shouldn't be welcomed at my college. I go to a well-known private Catholic university nearby. She knows because my keychain is hanging out my pocket that says the school. She starts yelling and asking for my name so she could call my school. As a black woman in this already racist city, I literally tried my best to finish my shopping and to leave. None of the workers helped me. I checked out with her still behind me yelling. I get done and she yells that I'm stealing and that the police need to be called. Luckily the workers didn't do it. She continued to block me from leaving the store. She grabbed my arm trying to drag me back in the store and I slap her in the face. M starts crying, her daughter grabs her and she looks at me with the most apologetic look. My fiancé was standing outside the door, thank God, and grabbed my hand and rushed me to the food court to get me to calm down. I thought that was the end, but nope. M literally must have called store security and they were looking for me around the mall. They eventually found me. Security searches my bags and looked at the receipts, then asked me about why I smacked her. I told them I can explain everything. M is yelling at the other security guards saying don't let the black guy get away with putting her hands on me. To sum up the rest, basically I got set free. M was let go, without security calling the police or letting me figure out who she was because I want to press charges. I can't believe even this happened over a shirt. I'm really pissed about the whole thing. My fiancé has been calming me down. My university takes things like this very seriously. They are currently doing an investigation of their own to find out who the lady was and why the mall didn't do anything to really help me. A lot of people have asked why no one did anything, IDK about the employees, but for the sake of the customers the mall was only allowing 25% of people in, plus there was like maybe 20-ish people from what I saw in the mall. To clear up on why my university is involved. A couple of years ago a black guy was basically hunted down from a convenience store all the way back to campus. They were bothering him at the store and chased him back, calling him names and threatening him. Parents and students asked what was the school going to do. So they made up a little task force of law people to help students figure out the green light for situations that need to be dealt with by the law. The task force holds people from the school's law team and campus police. Update: I just got off the phone with my school's lawyer. They said I definitely have a case that she is willing to help me with. She said that I had a meeting with them tomorrow and that all I need to do is work with them.